It has been about 3 weeks since the last interest rate hike, and it has had a significant effect. What does that mean for buyers? What does that mean for sellers in the current Northern Virginia real estate market? We're going to go in depth over this the next few minutes. My name is Sean Price. I am with the Price and Price Group here at eXp Realty, and this is our weekly market report. So yes, the interest rate hikes did affect the market. We have moved into even further into a buyer's market. So what does this mean for buyers? Buyers, there's a lot of opportunity out there. I know the interest rates are high, but here's the situation from a buyer's perspective. Either the the conditions of the market are perfect, but there's too much competition. So houses are getting bid up, people are overpaying for properties, and so on. And so at that time, it's like buyers are thinking, if you're a buyer, you're thinking, it's too expensive. I don't want to buy right now. I'm going to wait for the market to cool down. Well, when the market cools down, right now it's because the interest rates have gone up. So now buyers are thinking interest rates are too high. I'm going to wait for rates to cool down. Well, what's going to happen when the interest rates cool down? The market's going to pick back up again. So you're going to overpay for the property. So if you think about it from a logical perspective and you think about how you actually can date uh, your loan or your mortgage or your interest rate, but you can marry the property. So right now, there is an opportunity for buyers to have more negotiating power and get a property at a better price. Even if you're paying more in interest, you can get a property at a better price. And then when the interest rates normalize and come down a little bit, you can refinance. Now you've got a property that you got at a good price and you refinance that interest rate, and then you have a good long-term situation. There are also options for buyers to get reasonable interest rates right now using using different loan packages. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to us. We've got some great lenders we can introduce you to that can help you look at those options as well. So basically, from a buyer's perspective, it's a really good time to get out there. If you're waiting for the spring, if you're waiting for things to calm down further, there's a whole bunch of buyers that are doing the exact same thing. And when these perfect conditions occur, all of these buyers are going to flood the market. And I have a feeling we're going to end up with a situation like we had 6 months ago and a year ago, where everything is getting bid up and properties are going way above ask again. So it's a great opportunity for buyers right now, even with the higher interest rates. And if you look historically, the interest rates aren't that high. They're just high compared to what they were over the last couple of years. So if I'm a buyer and I'm sitting in this market, I'm seriously considering getting out there, looking what's out there, trying to negotiate the best price I can on a property, going ahead and get that property locked in, and then just refinance later. So that's the buyer perspective. From a seller's perspective, sellers have got to be realistic in this market. If you price your property appropriately based on location and condition, then your property will sell, and it will sell for its market value. You will still be able to recapture that huge gain in equity that you built up over the last couple of years. But you have to be very realistic and you have to strategically price the property based on condition. So in other words, if your property is fully updated, if, for example, let's say we listed your property and you worked with our contractors and we updated the property beautifully and we put in staging and we got this property in great condition, you're going to get top dollar for this property. You're probably going to get multiple offers and you're probably going to go above market value. If your property is dated or has a little bit of wear and tear and you really don't want to put in the time and the effort of doing the rehabs, then simply price the property appropriately. You're going to get the buyers, you're going to attract the buyers, and you're going to get the market value for your property, probably with multiple offers and probably a little bit above asking. But you have to be strategic. If you overprice your property, if you have unrealistic expectations, your property will be one of those that sits on the market. So if you're considering selling right now, it is a great time to sell because inventory is extremely low, but make sure you're talking to an agent that will tell you the truth, that will tell you what the condition of your property is, what the chances of it selling are, and what the real value is, so that you're going to the market appropriately and you get the result that you're looking for. Okay, so it's still a good time to sell. There's still a lot of equity in these properties, and you just have to be very strategic with how you approach it. Okay, so buyers and sellers, it's a good market. It's a little bit more favorable for the buyers just with regards to the time the properties are sitting on the market right now. And here's another thing to think about as well. We don't know what the market's going to do in the future, and if the market this ends up being just a normal fall decline, which is very, very possible, then when that market starts picking up at the beginning of the year, buyers, you're going to miss out on the opportunity that you had for getting a reasonable price on a property. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right, so let's get into the market. If you have any questions, if you'd like any details, or you'd like to meet with Kelly and Kelly and me to go through and really look at your property and see what your situation is, please feel free to reach out to us. Buyers, if you need to look at your situation and figure out what a good strategy is for you, let us know. We can help you with that as well. All right, so let's dive into what the numbers are, and we'll go from there. So you can see here that, as always, the orange line is the buyer activity and the blue line is the inventory. And you can see that both actually increased this week. Buyer activity is up 3% and inventory is up 12%. So we had an increase here and a little bit of an increase in buyer activity. We do still have this gap, which is what gets us into the buyer's market. So if we go over here to buyer's market versus seller's market, the orange line is a neutral market. Above the orange line is a seller's market, and you can see we spent a whole lot of time above that seller's market over the last couple years. But what's happened over the last several weeks is we've just kind of been dipping into this buyer's market because this gap has been occurring and the inventory has been higher than buyer activity. So we've seen this gap, and so we've moved down into the buyer's market. So we are in a buyer's market right now, which is great. Again, this is a great opportunity for buyers. How long it's going to last, I don't know. If you're trying to time the market, if you're trying to really play the game and try to time everything, there are a lot of buyers that are out there doing that right now. So I have a feeling a lot of buyers are going to miss the boat of this opportunity, because once market conditions start to improve even slightly, or even if buyers start to realize that, hey, the sky isn't falling just because the interest rates have gone up a little bit, and they start re-entering the market, then we're going to start moving back towards that seller's market again. We need to analyze each situation individually. So again, reach out to us. I'm happy to sit down with you, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side, help you figure out what the best strategy is for you, what the benefits versus risks are of going into the market now versus in the future, and just figure out the best course of action. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Again, if you would do us a huge favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, please click the subscribe button, click the like button, I think the thumbs up button, but help us get this market report out to more people. We'd really appreciate it. All right, we'll see you on next week's video. Have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and have a great week.